So here is a post that states Anthony Edwards has been locked in, staying off social media, and believes he has another step to take to reach Luka and Shai's level. One thing I appreciate about Anthony Edwards, despite him being the most confident player in the world, it seems, he's never had an issue acknowledging his weaknesses and adding stuff to his game as he grows into a finished product. From an outside perspective, I feel like when Anthony Edwards fails with the Minnesota Timberwolves, he's always looking at himself first rather than the team. And clearly off the court, he works very hard. It honestly makes the pre-draft concerns comical. If you remember, there were critics questioning if he even loves the game of basketball. So my point is, when he says he has another level to his game, I'm going to believe him because the track record speaks for itself. Every single season, he has improved in the points per game category. On top of that, he is proving himself as a winner. Each and every season, the Timberwolves are getting better and better. And remember last offseason, they made a blockbuster trade, getting rid of Karl Anthony Towns. Everyone was like, oh, the Knicks won that trade. And then the next thing you know, the Timberwolves exceed expectations again and wind up in the conference finals. The clear improvement from Anthony Edwards last season was adding a more consistent three-point shot. And he needed to heading into that season because they were losing Karl Anthony Towns, their best floor spacer off the ball when he had the rock. But the jump he made, I don't think anyone expected. I mean, the year before, he was shooting 6.7 threes per game. He upped it to 10.3, and he was also shooting 35%. He upped it to 39.5%. He ended up making 323 pointers. That is 7th all-time for a single season. What in the world? And the jump he made as an off-the-dribble three-point shooter was ridiculous. 4.7 pull-up threes per game, 100th percentile, most in the league. And despite that, he was still shooting 36.9%, 75th percentile. Step backs, 2.6 field goals attempted per game from three, 99th percentile, 42.5%, 81st percentile. This season before that, he was shooting 34.5% on pull-up threes and step backs just 34%. A huge improvement efficiency-wise from catch and shoot scenarios, but also off the dribble threes, and he deserves a ton of recognition. It was a crazy outlier development that really no one saw coming. A playmaking jump is next up for him, in my opinion. He's now seen pretty much every type of defense and coverage to stop him from scoring, and you can tell he's starting to adjust and understand how to get his teammates going. It really started to click post All-Star break. I remember him saying he's been watching Luka film. The exact quote is, I watch a lot of Luka, seeing how he attacks the double teams, even though we play a different pace, just seeing his strategy to beat the double teams, I think that helps a lot. And overall, you can just tell there was a point to get better in this aspect. He cut down the turnovers. It turns out pre-All-Star break, 4.5 assists per game to 3.5 turnovers. And then post-All-Star break, 4.6 assists per game to 2.5 turnovers per game. And there were games where you're like, oh, he's starting to get it. And remember, this is a guy who was just wired to score, and that's all he wanted to do early in his career. He's starting to make it a point to make everyone around him better. That's not easy to do, to make that shift, but he's improved so much since year one. I don't really put it past him from making a jump in this aspect. Next season, especially considering he was doing that at the end of the year and into the playoffs as well. So I want to go over to basketballindex.com. It will give you a better idea of what he has to improve as a playmaker. I'm focused on 3 categories. Number 1, passing creation quality, an estimate of expected efficiency on shots created for teammates factoring in location and other key factors. He graded a B in the 2023-24 season, and then last season he improved to A-. So he made a nice jump in terms of getting his teammates easier shots to make. However, the next 2 categories, he's been at a stalemate throughout his entire career. Passing efficiency. That's defined as a measure of passing efficiency from comparing bad pass turnovers against expectations, considering quality and versatility of shots created for teammates. Passing versatility is another one, an estimate of the range of types of passes a player makes. Players with higher values are expected to be able to make more kinds of playmaking reads. He's been stuck with the letter grade D for passing efficiency and versatility for the past 2 seasons now. If he can become a more consistent, more dynamic playmaker, it would do wonders for him. I also think he has to just put everything together. I felt like at times against OKC, he was just too passive, not aggressive enough. It felt like in that OKC series, he was either, scoring 24/7 or just worried about playmaking for his teammates. I think there's a jump to be made in terms of just playing off instincts and incorporating everything naturally. Hopefully that makes sense. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to say. But if you watched him against OKC, I think you know what I mean. Bottom line is, I think he wants to make a consistent jump playmaking wise. It started last season, and I think it's going to trend into next season. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know your thoughts below in the comments section.